My name is Gemmicka Piper, and I am the Humanities Librarian for IUPUI University Library. With me today is Nichelle Hayes, and I'll let Nichelle introduce a little more about herself.
Hi, I'm Nichelle M. Hayes. I'm the leader of the Center for Black Literature and Culture at Indianapolis Public Library at the Central Branch downtown. I'm a native of Indianapolis and a lifelong lover of literature and poetry, so I'm very excited to be here today.
Well, thank you for joining us. Nichelle, what poet or poem will you be discussing with us today?
So, that's a really hard question because there's so many poems that I love and so many poets that I love. But I think maybe the one that I want to talk about today is On the Pulse of the Morning by Maya Angelou. And it was actually the inaugural poem that she wrote for William Clinton.
Okay.
And it's a very powerful poem. It's a very long poem, so it's not something that I will read in its entirety. But there are just a lot of things that really speak to me, and I think that's why poetry is so powerful, because it speaks to you, it's transformative, it's powerful, and it can also restore you, so it's definitely restorative.
Is there a particular section maybe you want to read a couple lines from?
Yes, I think so, because it looks like I've read this before, and it looks like I've already labeled a page, so we'll just go ahead and start from there. So this is On the Pulse of the Morning by Maya Angelou. Here, root yourselves beside me. I am that tree planted by the river, which will not be moved. I, the rock, I, the river, I, the tree, I am yours. Your passages have been paid. Lift up your faces. You have a piercing need for this bright morning dawning for you. History, despite its wrenching pain, cannot be unlived, but if faced with courage, need not be lived again. Lift up your eyes upon this day breaking for you. Give birth again to the dream. And then it ends very powerfully by saying, here, on the pulse of this day, you may have the grace to look up and out and into your sister's eyes and into your brother's face, your country, and say simply, very simply, with hope, good morning.
Wow. Thank you for that reading. Nichelle, what was it about this particular poem that resonated with you?
I think I love Maya Angelou, so it would be kind of hard for her to write something that I didn't like. So literally she could be like copying something from the phone book and I'd be like, oh my God, she's amazing. Look at that depth. But honestly, when she read this and the location where she was reading it during an inaugural celebration, a time when our country transfers power quietly and orderly, and it's a continuation and it's aspirational. We have hopes for the future, and she just spoke to us, and she didn't whitewash it. She didn't make it Pollyanna and say, oh, we're the greatest and we're the best. She said, you know, we've had some challenges, we've got some things that we've got to get over, but I'm hopeful that on the pulse of this morning, that there's an opportunity for us to move forward. And I think that speaks to me on a daily basis, where it's saying there's another chance for us to get it right. And so she is definitely rooted into the Black church, and so that cadence from that, because that felt very much like a spiritual that we sang at church and still sing at church. You know, I'm not going to be moved. You know, I shall not be moved. And so just like a tree planted by the waters. And so I think that really spoke to me as well. So it was multi-layered, and I think a powerful poem is like that. It's multi-layered, and this is more than one thing that kind of speaks to you. And I think also, probably when I first heard it, I heard certain things, but then when I bought it, I saw other things because I had more time to unpack it. And even now, many years later, I'm seeing even more things. So I think that's what good poetry does. It doesn't just stand the test of time, but it reveals itself kind of slowly based upon your maturation.
Okay, wow. I think that is a really beautiful definition for I think what poetry is supposed to accomplish. The last question I have for you today is, who would you recommend this particular poet or this poem too? Like, who should read this?
I think everyone should read it. I think at any given time in our life, we need to be renewed, and we need to know that there's an opportunity for renewal, and that we have another chance to get it right. And that might be a singular person, or it might be a country, or it might be an organization, or it might be a school. So I think there's a lot from this poem that we can all gain from.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us today, Nichelle.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.